Hi guys! No, those weren't mine. I'm just sitting here, feeling envious on the lovely greenhouse. Another YouTuber was showing us. Did I get inspired or what? Well guys, this is late March Bloom a Spike video. I'm gonna take you guys along with clips put together throughout the month of March. Yeah, they were all piling up, so this video will be a few at least. Quite a few, a little bit more than I expected in bud and bloom. So yeah, come along with me. And a really pleasant surprise, the Phragmipedium Cardinale, a hybrid cross Phragmipedium. The only Phragmipedium I've got, and my first one ever as well. When I got her, I could see no tendency on spiking. But in a couple of weeks, she started to create a bud. And I thought maybe one bloom. So this one has been out for a couple of days. And I saw that this one was sequential. And she had another bud. So I waited to film her until after the second one had opened up. But you can still see that there is still another one I missed to the backside as well. Yeah, this is fun. This is Christmas, really, to me, as I look today. Yeah, in her second fan, there is also a bud coming. I thought this one may have been the oldest fan, or well, as I didn't know anything about this orchid when I got it, so it's history, so I just assumed that this one was also an old fan. And so that was strange that it blooms from the weaker fan afterwards. Maybe this one is a division. It may be. I'm not sure. I know nothing about this one. But I do know that it's producing yet another one down there. And yeah, some good root growth there. Some live root tips. But this one I haven't repotted yet. And I don't intend to repot her in a while as well. And I put her in my semi-hydroponic plastic container, and I fill up the water reservoir until the water pours out from the hose down into this little tray. And when I can see that the water reservoir is all dried up, I pour in some water again. This one loves to be sitting in damp media. At first I thought it smelled like an old well, but, well, sour and stuff, but, I reconsidered. It doesn't seem to do this orchid any harm, really. So I'm so glad I got this one. A quite pricey one, but worth every penny, really. So, as soon as I see some other Phragmipediums out there for sale, I will get a few more. I definitely will. Yeah, I can recommend this one to you, even though it doesn't carry any scent. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous orchid to look at. So, Pinocchio, again, this never-ending story. Nothing down there. No, it lost a bud number 12. But there's another one coming there. You can see, here's where the lost bud is. There's a new one here. So maybe. But, yeah, it's running on its last verse, really, as we say. Playing on its last fiddle. But yeah, that amount of time this one has been in bloom, it's incredible. Well worth having this one. Seems like its new fan is going to be a great one as well. The Prostechea Cocleata. This one never fails. One huge bloom this time. Recently opened. And another one here, the backside. Few new buds to come. Some more. This one will bloom sequentially for many months. Last time she bloomed for, I think, 7 or 8 months in a row. So, when these guys drops, these guys follows, and the stem, the spike, will grow taller and taller. And we're going to be able to see where the blooms has been been sitting. So we can count the number of blooms after a while. It's a species and she's a really interesting one. And her blooms, this part, turns wider and larger and more interesting by every year, each time she blooms. So this plant is getting better and better with larger blooms. Late winter, early spring. Phalaenopsis Schilleriana, species Phalaenopsis. Season. This one hasn't really failed me at any point. Except for maybe this year. I waited and waited and waited to film it, since I would want it to open up all of its buds. Yeah, to see her at her best. Well, this spike, long spike, branching spike, and also a little cakey. This time, not so much energy, not so much strength to this one. And it's centered and 6 centimeters, 2.5 inches. And after time, she will become 3.5 inches, 8 centimeters wide. So she gets wider and wider after time. And lighter. This is when she's at her best, I think. Smooth, silky, straight, no wrinkles, deeper in color. Look at her gorgeous, gorgeous little center part. But as I said, slightly centered this time. And the old bloom, soon about to fade. Yes. And guys, what happened to my Tolumnia Scandens? The orchid that seemed to have disappeared. I told you that she had a spike. And, yeah, this one could have been an old flower spike. But I got a little bit of information from another YouTuber who sometimes watches my videos. Oh, yeah. So thank you very much for that info. And she also had this one. And she told me this one was a climber, monopodial orchid. So that this is not really a flower spike. It's just climbing. A climbing growth, so to speak. Grows upwards. And in time, this one will become, yeah, kind of high, I believe. So it's going to be fun to follow with this one. And I believe that I have to, I will have to mount this one. It will be too high otherwise. But anyway, what's this? The spike I broke. Oh, I mean, this new growth I broke. Look like this. I was reaching over, stretching over to grab another orchid sitting behind it. I'm not being fierce, nothing. It just fell off. So I just figured, yeah. Maybe it will branch. And I think it is down there. It's branching. It's not dead. And not long after, another, as I knew by now, wasn't a flower spike, appeared. Really nice, I thought. And I snapped that one as well. So here it is, making the very same mistake. Stretching over, trying to reach Tolumnia on its way to be watered. Bloop. And but this one is a fast grower, so it produced this little thingy. This one may be a blooming spike. Oh, well, most likely a new growth, but it's a really, really fast and vigorous grower. This one really loves to be alive. So I wouldn't count on any blooms on this guy in the near future. But it's an interesting one. And for now, I'm gonna keep it to the back, behind all of the other orchids. So this won't happen again. Yeah. Tolumnia Scandens, a species. Vigorous one. €1 orchid from Schwerter. Ionosidium popcorn haruri. A relatively new purchase from the Orchid Society meeting, a previous one I went to. Well, I wasn't supposed to get any more of these guys. I have a hard time to keep up with the humidity it needs. And, well, I cannot keep them mounted. So, yeah, they last for a while, and after time they just, fade. Yellowing leaves. But we talked about the solution, the vendor and I. This one is a good mount. And she said, put it in a glass vase with some water to the bottom. Yeah, I tried that method before, and I've been a little bit worried about the air circulation, and that there will be some mold and rotting if becoming too wet, or if spraying it from above with a sprayer, that the water will stick in between the leaves and cause them to rot off. As the air circulation is not so intense really down there. But I just filled the little vase, or vase, or what you want to call it, up, and only the edges of the live sphagnum moss is touching the water. And that seems to be enough for it to hydrate the whole lot. And this little Paphiopedilum, Maudiae, hybrid cross, has been open for a little bit longer than 5 weeks. That's a good achievement on a good plant with a gorgeous new growth coming as well to the side. Lovely mottled leaf set. I think that this one has got the best coloured and patterned leaf set of all of the mottled leaf ones. It shows a bit of a sign of, well, fading a bit, a little bit wrinkly here, but I may be wrong. Maybe this one will get a few more weeks. Not scented though, but still, it's a fine orchid. So, what on earth is this little orange beautiful bloom? It's the Ring Cattleya Shin from Little Sun Young Min Golden Boy. The orchid with a really short name. I was waiting impatiently for it to bloom. But it was sitting there with a lot of new sheath everywhere. Some of them turning brownish, some of them drying out, some of them fresh and green. Nothing ever happened. Last year it bloomed earlier, about in January I think. But this season nothing really happened except for a plant becoming really wide and a lot of scale to the base everywhere. Impossible to get to the middle part of the base of the orchid. It was so, pseudoballs were sitting so tightly squeezed in together. So it made it impossible for me to reach inside there and get rid of the scale. So the only solution I could find was to divide this orchid into 3 divisions. So this is division number 1. I'm not watering these guys yet, since they also been transitioned into semi-hydro. So I bet that all of the roots are dead. But no water reservoir, I'm only flushing them. So perhaps a few of the roots won't die off, as they would have been if I had filled up the water reservoir from the very beginning. And this one, buds. A few buds there. Not so many, 2 perhaps, but at least a few buds. This one is an empty sheath. Here's another one. Obviously, the one with the strongest division. 4 buds. That's a lot of 5 buds. No, 4 buds. That's even better than last year's blooming. Even though the orchid was intact at the time. So, it's a good achievement. So now I really like this orchid even more. So, you really need to grow some new roots. Yes. Yeah. So, I will show the other blooms in a while. Not so wide, about 5-6 centimeters wide across the petals. Really lovely long lip. Curly lip. With some reddish to the center. in there. Not easy to see, but yeah, I like the shape of it. I think it's funny. A lovely little splash. What do we see in the stand? Phalaenopsis minimark. The orchid from Wickman. The one with 2 divisions. Excellent root system. Growing stage. 2 spikes. 1 to the backside as well. There, you can see. And 4 of them has opened up most recently, and a few more to come. So this is a good blooming for being perhaps its first time ever blooming for this orchid. I mean, I cannot feel any scent. Maybe aren't supposed to be any, but doesn't matter. The blooms are about 4 centimeters wide across the petals. Really lovely pink spottings to them. And some orange spots to the lip as well. I don't know if you can see it, but they're really faint, but they are there. And different colors to the spots. You can see down there, we got some orange-ish spots, followed up by pink spots for the upper part of the bloom. I like this one. Film her again when in full bloom. And here's my all-time favorite Phalaenopsis. Without competition. Phalaenopsis-wise? No. This one is, on the other hand, scented with a lovely, rosy soap scent. With 1, 2, 3. This one is the last one to open up. And 4 blooms this time. Pyloric orchid, which means that this one has got 3 lips. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Whoops. Phalaenopsis joy fairy tale pyloric. An old Schwerter purchase. And this orchid is doing better and better for every year. Look, yet another spike this time. She usually produces her next spike after the blooms faded on the second one, on the first spike. So, but it just opened up. So this, well, maybe it will be, the 2 spikes will bloom simultaneously. But well, perhaps not. But these guys are going to be in bloom for 5 or 6 weeks or so, or even longer. And she's got an expansive root system, potted up in bark with perlite and some rock wool as a top layer, since she is really crawling out of the pot by now. So I just wanted to hydrate the roots a little bit, make them go down into the media instead of become aerial. Yeah, and this little Coleogena type cutie orchid is really trying. She really is trying to do something great this year. I sprayed her with pesticides. There was a little bit of ugliness going on to her leaves and something eating of her buds, on her buds. So she's been spiking for some time now, and she's continuously spiking here in that little new growth as well. In, let's see, yeah, and this little new growth, in this little new growth, yeah, basically everywhere. So I am happy for this purchase, and I've had this orchid for a couple of years now. 5 or 6 years, I don't know. So it's just until recently she has taken off this well. So this one is a keeper now, and I will never get rid of this one. I love the blooms, especially the scent to the blooms. It's really gorgeous. Pholidota Chinensis. Ta-da! I almost forgot to film one of my best orchids. Psychopsis Mariposa 3-lip. Swedish purchase from September 2021. It arrived with a bud. And ever since, it's been blooming 3 times. This is bloom number 3. Opened up yesterday. Quite a good sized bloom, I think. Looks like a little insect. Or a skull. Look at that part. That part really looks like a dead man's skull. No. Yay, we're gonna stay positive. But anyway, I think it's a good orchid by now. Its leaves are growing wider. It's last growth, grown on in my care. Well, it's not so tall, not so wide as the other ones. But in return, this little new growth created a spike for us. Yeah, now it's really setting off. It grew really slowly at the beginning. But now it's doubled its size by 10 since my previous Bloom and Spike video. Yes. So these 2 guys are able to bloom simultaneously. And this old spike or shall we say, are able to bloom for a couple of years. So I heard. Never seen it in reality, though. It blooms for about 1 year and then it's finished. But yeah, you never know when it arrives in bloom how long it's been blooming before. At the previous owner's care. So anyway, a good plant. Really satisfied with this purchase. Sitting in semi-hydroponics. So guys, thank you all so much for watching this Spike and Bloom video for the month of March. Maybe next month there will be 2 updates. I'm not sure. We shall see how much we have in bloom by then. And it's been a little bit sparsely lately, so that's why I didn't make early March Spike and Bloom video. Yeah, I saw no need for it. Nothing to show. Yeah, it's a bad month really, but yeah, we're getting there. It's getting better and better for each day. So now guys, take care and talk to you soon. Bye bye.